wait until Valentine's Day to give you attention. Wait until Valentine's Day to give you flowers, to give you, presents, instead of really building the relationship throughout the year. And I think that a lot of guys are in the same place. Like, man, Valentine's Day, I need to go all out. I need to buy the flowers. I need to buy the gift. I need to buy the card. But then what do you do the rest of the year?
This is Vivian Velasquez.
And this is Raul Velasquez.
Welcome to the podcast. Welcome to the God Money Says podcast. My name is Vivian Velasquez.
My name is Raul Velasquez, and we are so excited. February 1st, we are starting the month with the podcast.
That's right.
Are you okay there? Is that?
Yeah, this thing was falling apart. Sorry, right as we're getting started. It's okay, we got it.
That's why we check everything before.
We got it.
Check everything before. All right, so let's get into it. Thank you for watching. If you're watching this in Facebook Live, just make sure you have a comment, give a comment, and let us know where you're watching from. We're gonna take a look at the comments, and we're gonna give a couple of shout outs towards the end. If you have any questions, make sure you put your questions in the chat, and let's begin. Let's begin. Where do you want to start?
So I was telling you, February, I think, is like a really beautiful month because it has a lot. Well, we have a lot happening, first of all. Like, we have a lot of events. We got a lot of just, stuff that's coming up, stuff that we're nurturing, that we're doing. But it's also Valentine's Day. And I know that, I've been talking to my queens. I've been, just telling them. And I think, we should talk a little bit about that. And, I'm wearing, my heart shirt. And I was telling you, let's think of things. And I know that that's a topic that sometimes we don't want to talk about. But we're always talking about relationships. We're talking about communication and how to be like this power couple. And then we're talking about God, money, and sex. So I think that's something that we should continue to have these conversations around it. Because I know, we stand for love. We stand for marriages, and that's something if you don't communicate, then you're going to fail miserably when it comes time.
And guys, we always, most of the time, Valentine's Day, we fuck it up. How we fuck it up? Because we think that women want, the mistake that I've done in the past is just to, presents, instead of really building the relationship throughout the year. And I think that a lot of guys are in the same place. Like, man, Valentine's Day, I need to go all out. I need to buy the flowers. I need to buy the gift. I need to buy the card. But then what do you do the rest of the year? The rest of the year, you ignore your woman. You have no date nights. You have no presence or appreciation of whatever the love language is. And I think that this for us, Valentine's Day is always an opportunity for us to look back and say, okay, how else can we improve? How can we take it to the next level? So let's talk about how they could not mess up Valentine's Day.
Right. And
what do you recommend? If you're coaching, I'll tell the ladies what they could do for the man, and you could tell the guys what they could do for Valentine's Day, how to prep the Valentine's Day.
Okay, so first of all, I would say there is so much pressure from society when it comes to Valentine's Day, right? So it's like you said, it's just a one day. So what if we take our minds away? And I speak to women all the time, and to my queens, and even to myself. I'm always taking myself through this rituals. I'm taking myself through this moments of nourishment and connection, because it's I don't want to have connection one day. I don't want to have sex and communication on that one day. Maybe even that day I don't even feel like having that. So it's okay, what would I say to them? And what do I say to them all the time? And what do I say to myself? Is how do you consciously cultivate connection to yourself every single day? And when you're in that place, how do you have this shift of something that I talk to them, and we've talked in here, is having this transition time. So thinking ahead, this is something if you could avoid having feeling so pressured on Valentine's Day, is knowing what is the transition that needs to happen for you in order for you to feel fully just connected to yourself, so you could have this connection with your man. Because if you don't have a connection to your own body, to your own senses...
You're telling the women how to do this. I'm asking you to tell the guys.
Oh, to the guys.
you tell the guys.
Okay.
I'm processing this. How does this apply to the guys? How does this apply?
I talk to the ladies. I talk to my queens all the time, and this is what I always say. But if I would tell the guys, I would say plan ahead. Because...
That was exactly what I was going to say.
I would say plan ahead.
You got to plan ahead. You can't just wing it.
Yeah, because, and I'll say this from like our experience, right? And I'm totally vulnerable and totally real. Like, Raul's the type of person that would do things in the very last minute. And don't get me wrong, like
Wait till the last minute is the best time.
you get it done and it comes through. But sometimes it's like you could see the pressure that you've been put on, or you put on yourself, and that's on you. That's how you like to do things. But I would say, guys, if you're seeing this right now, if you're listening to this, really like take the time to think about it. Like, we're giving you heads up from like now until the 14th. You have 13 days. Like, how is it that you could prepare to make maybe not just that day, but maybe do something that's even more memorable? Like, go to your next level. What is your next level that you could do in order to prepare, that you could actually make her feel loved from tomorrow until the Valentine's actual day? And maybe even push yourself for the next 30 days. I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm throwing it out there. How can you do that?
So, yeah, I mean, put
Prepare.
in the comments how many guys wait till the last minute to buy the flowers.
I know.
To buy the gifts. And usually what happens is when I wait till the last minute, I always overspend, right? And we try to overcompensate. Like, oh shit, I didn't think about something. Let me go to the jewelry store. Let me buy something more expensive,
of
right?
course,
And you could
of
tell
course.
when it's like last minute or when it was a thoughtful gift.
Of course.
So
And it
that's a
doesn't
great
have to
point for the
be-
guys. Really plan it out. Today's February 1st. Plan it out. You have 2 weeks.
Right,
There's
and
plenty of time for you to think of something that is meaningful, something that you don't have to just wing it.
Right. And I would say, like, sometimes, especially when you're in a long-term relationship, like, you've gotten each other everything. You've done so many things for each other. I think figuring out, like, what's your love language and how do I feed that
What's
love
the
language?
best, now thinking about it, what's the best Valentine's present that you've received, or best Valentine's experience that you received that you remember? Like 25 years being married, this is going to be your 25th Valentine's Day.
Okay, so I have to tell you, because we've been working and you've been working so hard and we've been doing all these things, we haven't had time to go away. But one of the things that I really loved and appreciated, like in this past however many years we've been together, like we've always gone away and you've made the time, you've taken the time
So what's
away
the
from
most
your schedule.
memorable time?
The most memorable time is us going.
I could think of one.
Okay,
that
I have
was
two.
Epic,
I have
all
two
right?
that I have to
so I
tell
want
you.
to see if you can remember, so I can see if the effort that we put in is even worth it.
Okay, well, I have to tell you two that I remember. One of
Okay.
them is when we went away. We went to Puerto Rico, and you had the yacht planned. You had all these things like planned.
What was
Everything
it
just came together.
Why was it memorable for you?
Why was it memorable? Because you
we went to-
blindfolded me. You blindfolded me, and you took me to the airport. I didn't know where I was going, did not know what to expect, and like the whole trip, you actually thought it through, and it was like you had the yacht, you had the food, you had the hotel, you just had everything, and for me it was like, wow, you really took this time to think it
It
through.
was an experience.
It was a whole
It wasn't a trip that
experience.
we planned that we said we're gonna do here.
No, it was
I
a
said
whole
I'll take
experience.
care of everything. I'm not even gonna tell you where you're gonna go.
I didn't
I'm not
know.
I told you to pack clothes for the beach and pack clothes for
The winter.
The winter. I said
Yeah.
either way, and actually remember, I blindfolded you to the plane, and I told the flight attendant just to say, hey, this plane is gonna go to Alaska. It's gonna be
Alaska
cold.
is, yeah.
And then I put the headphones on so you don't hear the real instructions. And
Yeah.
and after we landed, you were surprised that you were in Puerto Rico.
I was very surprised.
But why was it Puerto Rico? Puerto Rico was our first vacation you and I had as boyfriend and girlfriend.
That's right.
So it had a special meaning, right?
Yes.
And then I took care of everything. You didn't know what was gonna happen, right?
You're right. And it was very memorable. The second one that was very heartwarming and touching is you wrote a journal for me, and you wrote it for, I think it was for 30 days. And in that journal, you wrote things to me and for me that every time I read, like every single day. So I read a page every day, and every time I read it, I sobbed because I just couldn't believe like the thought and the love that you have put into it. It was just so heartfelt that I don't know what it was about. I don't know how you did it. It was just like, until this day, like I could look back and just start crying about it. I was just
And
literally
it's
was
great
weeping.
to see like two different things. Like one, I spent a lot of money, a lot of time, and the other one, it was just a lot of thought behind
Intention,
it.
so much
behind it. And I
intention.
remember that because it was a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
It wasn't too long.
Right.
Like the surprise experience was a long time. It was about 10 years, 15 years ago that we
Oh,
did
wow.
that. This one was
5 years probably.
no less than
No?
that, about 2 years.
Oh,
2
really?
years ago.
Okay.
But,
It was very memorable. So
So ask me
I
what
truly
Valentine's
do
Day do I remember?
I'm a afraid to ask you this, but what was your most memorable Valentine's Day?
Every one of them. Every one of them.
Stop
Because,
it.
man, what you have to understand, Valentine's Day is not for you. Okay? Valentine's Day is not for the guys. Valentine's Day is for the women. It's our opportunity for us to go all
To
out and show
shine.
up
Yes.
and show off what
Yes.
we've done. But don't wait till the last minute. At the
Right.
beginning of our relationship, Valentine's Day, there used to be some fights. What we used to fight about in Valentine's Day?
I don't remember exactly what it was, but back then we would fight about anything and everything. But I do remember, just being honest, like feeling the pressure that
Yeah.
we had to have sex. And for me, it was like there was times that maybe I didn't even want to because I didn't even feel like
that
it.
was the fights were the pressure. Like I had to create all the experience that we had to finish with sex.
Right.
Right. We have to finish in the hotel room. We'll rent the hotel room. And
Or
then
just
the fights.
have sex.
It always happened. Like why is it that we can't connect? Because it's the pressure. Right.
Right.
When we took off the pressure and then we got older, we got wiser. It's like no, we don't have to have sex. And then sex happened because
There
were
was
not
no pressure.
Pressure.
Right.
So letting go of expectations. So another thing that I would tell the guys, let go of expectations. Something that I would tell the ladies, doesn't have to end in sex, but you have to show appreciation. A blowjob is not all full sex, but that's always welcome.
Yeah.
Blowjobs for Valentine's Day, definitely a win for the ladies.
And it doesn't, and I think
That shows a lot of appreciation.
I think that's a pressure, right? Like the pressure, like I said, like this,
But see, that's the
day
pressure
puts
on
it
who? A blowjob is a pressure on who?
You get the pressure.
Yeah, like, if you don't want to have sex, it's okay. But at least take care of your guy. It's Valentine's Day. He goes all out. He buys all these things. He treats you in a nice way. At least show appreciation. I don't know of a guy that's gonna say no to a blowjob, especially.
Of course, okay, that's fine. But it's like, regardless, it's like it puts a pressure on the women. It's like, okay, what if that day I
But
really...
what do you have to do? I know we were funny about this, but I'm trying to understand what's the pressure on the woman?
It's not that
for
big of a
blowjob?
deal.
The pressure of the guy to have it to perform.
Well, you want the performance, so there you go. But it's just like it's any act, any sexual
Okay.
act, okay? It's just like for us women to feel the pressure that it has to happen. And I think that's the part where it's like, especially for us, it's like that's not a turn on. Pressure for us to perform is not a turn on.
But that's why I'm making it easy for the ladies. You don't have to do anything except just give them
The
the
blowjob.
blowjob. If you don't want to have sex afterwards, I think that's a fair trade. Like.
I mean, and that's something, again, we go back to communication. Are you having this clear communication? I would say to the guys, if I say something else, have this clear communication. Like, hey, listen, honey, I love you. I'm going to do all of this because I want to, but I would love if you give me a blowjob. If she could say yes or no,
we have
take
this
away that
dice,
expectation.
This dice that we just recently bought. We're
Yeah.
having a dinner with some of our inner circle members.
Yeah.
And those dice, when you roll the dice, it gives you a position, right? A sex
Right.
position. It
Right.
gives you something a playful thing. So I think that's where, if I give an advice to the ladies on Valentine's Day, just be playful. Be playful.
Fun.
Be fun. You know, it's an opportunity for you to be sexy, to even maybe role play. You know, create some kind of a different persona that you go out this time for Valentine's Day.
Yeah, but then again, it's not just on that day. Don't feel the pressure. And I think that's the part where like I felt it the most. It's like feeling the pressure to have to perform. And if it didn't happen, then it's like, oh my gosh, like I feel even worse than what I felt from the beginning. So, well, you know what? I don't want the flowers. I don't want the present. Just take it all away because it's like, you know, we're trading love if you're doing it on the one day. But if you continue to give each other the love, the blowjobs that you want, the affection that you want, the connection that you
so
want,
what would
and
be
it's like,
for us guys?
okay.
A blowjob is like awesome, great Valentine's Day. What would it be for a woman?
attention.
Right? So attention. So guys, give your lady as much attention as you can. That day should be texting from the morning, flowers in the morning, a note, something like go through the whole day, giving her the attention, make her feel seen, make her
Loved,
feel loved,
appreciated.
appreciated and heard.
Yes.
And then maybe you end up with a blowjob.
Of course, and I would, you know, like why not? If you're doing the right things, why not? And that's kind of like it tells you too, like where you are in your relationship. It's kind of like it's how do you say, like a barometer, right? Like see how and what happens on Valentine's Day. If it's easy for you, is it something that's effortless? Is it something that you're looking forward to? Is it something that you want to run away from altogether? And I think that's a mistake that a lot of us do. Is like, you know what? I'm just going to skip it altogether because it's such a hype, or because.
But you see, all this is so simple. I mean, like, attention. It doesn't cost you anything to
Right.
give your woman attention.
Yeah, but the challenge comes when you're waiting to give your woman the attention only on that day.
And only because you want something.
That's right.
Because you feel like, because you think, you see, and that's the thing that I would tell the ladies, just give, if the guy's trying, cut him some slack,
Right.
and just give him credit. Because the mistake that I see with a lot of couples, like, I know why you're doing this, because you want to have sex tonight. Oh, I know why you're buying me flowers, because you want to have a blowjob tonight. Oh, I know why you're doing this. Even if that's the truth, like, he's putting the effort. He's not just saying, I want this because you're my wife. You have to perform for me.
I get it, but then what if you've been in a relationship that it's like the whole rest of the year you're gonna forget about me, but then on this day, that's the only day that you're gonna come and show up. That makes me even madder. And then as I'm
See,
saying,
these were the fights, guys. These were
Right.
the fights, because in my mind, I'm thinking, shit, I worked my ass off the entire year. At least this year, I'm showing you appreciation because the entire culture is telling me that I'm an asshole if I don't do it.
Right.
I know it's not the right thing, but from that place, like, then you have the conversations. Can we not do this just one day a year? Can we
and
do
then
this more often?
it gives us the permission. And I think, gauging yourself is like, where are you in that relationship at the moment? And then having those uncomfortable conversations and say like, hey, listen, because I remember having this conversation with you one time and I told you, I said, hey, babe, like, I don't want flowers just on Valentine's Day. Like, I love flowers. I want you to give me like a subscription of what you would spend on flowers on Valentine's Day, where it's like they are over the top. Can you just buy me a subscription for?
And that's a great hack, guys. There's tons
Right?
of subscriptions out there.
And it comes every
single
month.
It comes and you look like a hero and you do it once.
Yeah.
That's
and
a great.
it's a lot less than you spending the money just on Valentine's Day. So again, it had to come from like me asking and telling you what I wanted from you, and being okay with like, I need to ask for something and I need to be clear. Now, something that it's maybe totally off topic, but it's on the same topic about, God, money, and sex, is sometimes we ask for things, but we're not ready to receive it. And, even like in the Bible, it's something along the lines as that. It's like we ask God for all these things, but when he gives it to us, we don't receive it. It's the same thing like in this relationship that you're in. Like, you're asking your man for something, you really got to be open to receive. And then once you receive, the heart of like, how can I make this moment even better for us, for you? Even if it is the blowjob.
I read a passage in the Bible that says, you don't have because you don't ask. Guys, ask. Ask God, ask your wife, ask for the blowjob. You will get it.
Just
You
ask
don't
for
get it because you don't ask. And if you ask, have faith and ask and show up.
And this is what the conversations that we talk about, Raul and I always go back and we say like communication, and we tell you this because we've had.
This energy and the polarities. You have to have fun with it.
That's right.
Like
but it's not always fun. But if you sit down and you have this clear communication, and we've had this like really serious conversations about like, hey, you can't manipulate me with sex. You can't hold back sex or play with it. So it's like, if you are in a long-term relationship, or if you're in a relationship period and sex is important to you, you really have to learn to talk about it.
So one insight I could give everybody who's listening to this right now on Valentine's Day: don't put the pressure on having sex, but definitely at least, like I told one of my Instagram guys, like, at least go to third base, at least mess around. This connection, you gotta have connection. You can't go Valentine's Day without kissing each other, without touching each other, without feeling wanted with each other. Use that, and once you start with it, don't wait until the next year to rekindle that.
I agree.
We actually have I'll plug in our event that we're going to have in June, the couples retreat. We're going to have a couples retreat. We're going to talk all about connection. We're going to talk about
communication,
the blueprint, the sexual blueprints. I mean, that changed the game for us when it comes to knowing your sexual blueprint, knowing my sexual blueprint, to see how we could have better sex. We're going to talk about how do you engage into different real raw conversation without feeling judged, without having wars, without having to be World War III in your house.
Taking out the shame and the guilt and having this communications, because if you want your relationship to last, you got to have these conversations that sometimes are uncomfortable at the moment, but it actually gets you to your next level. Whatever level you are, there's always a next one.
You know, and you're gonna fight on Valentine's Day. It's inevitable. Like at most, I don't know. I was looking for statistics. There's a lot of fights that happen on Valentine's Day, especially the older the couples are, the longer we've been married. There's all these little things that show up. I think it's an opportunity for you, because if you have a fight and if there is friction, there is energy. There's also make-up sex, right? But you have to make up. Don't build it. Don't hold a grudge. Ladies, Valentine's Day, it's an opportunity for you to show your sexy side, all right? Man, it's an opportunity for you to show that you care and you love your queen, and you're taking time and you set the intention to make her feel seen, loved, and heard.
One of the things that I will add to that, maybe, that comes to mind is this comparison game. And I think like wherever you are, we always want to compare what we see out there, especially because, people like start putting like, oh, I'm doing this, or I'm going here, or he gave me this, or, don't compare yourself to that person, because 100%. You don't know where they are. You don't know what's going on behind closed doors. Like Raul and I try to share as much as we can, but even in that, like you don't get the gist of everything that happens behind closed doors, because, like we can't do that all the time. But just don't compare yourself. Allow yourself to be really fully present to where you are. What does God want for you in your relationship right now? And where does he want to take you? Like, what does he need from you right now? What is the most authentic, the most honest truth in your relationship and you? And then you start asking from that place, and you start giving and loving from that place, not comparing yourself to anyone right now.
At the same time, is a team effort here. It's just not one person cannot, hold the relationship.
I agree.
So you gotta work as a team. Make this Valentine's Day. Maybe there's a time for you to say, you know what, let's regroup. Let's use Valentine's Day as a board meeting. Let's regroup. Let's see where's our relationship going. If I remember correctly, I think you and I had that conversation about a relationship on Valentine's Day. No, it was an anniversary. Our anniversary. We're like, are you happy? Are you 100% happy? Are you sure? And you told me, no, I'm not 100%. I said, well, the same thing with me. I'm not 100% happy. I love you, but I think that relationship could go to the next level.
Right.
So have those conversations. Use Valentine's Day as an opportunity for you to assess your relationship. I said, if you are not, from 1 to 10, right? 1, you're planning your exit, right? There is no love. There is no passion. 5, you just stale. You just go into the motions. 10, there is passion. There's sex. There's connection. Look at your relationship. And if you are less than 5, talk about it and see what can we do. Not to blame each other, not to say, hey, it's your fault or mine. It's just what can we do as a couple to go to level 9, to go to level 10, to strive for that. I always look at measuring every area. I measure my body, I measure my relationship with God, I measure my connection with the kids and you, I measure my business. As men, we have to have KPIs. Maybe ask your wife from 1 to 10, how good of a lover do you think I am, right? And if she says like less than a 5, well, there's some work for you to do, and same thing, vice versa. But man, don't fuck it up on Valentine's Day. She's at 10, okay? If you want to get the blowjob, make sure at least that day you have permission to lie, all right?
That's funny.
But again, just have fun.
Definitely.
Playful, have those conversations.
That's something that we definitely forget how, especially in a long-term relationship, like we forget to have fun. We forget like, hey, listen, roll some dice and see what comes up for like foreplay and anticipation and all these things. That's part of us. And I think that we forget to do that a little more than we should.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, great. So do you want to react to this video?
Do we have time?
I learned this in therapy. Such a great tool, whether it's with relationships with guys or friendships or career, whatever it is, where you feel like you need to say something, is when you do this, I feel this, and this is how I would like it to be better. So that is a non-combative way to communicate, because so many times people ask me, like, do you and Ty ever fight? Do you ever fight? It's like, we don't actively fight. We don't fight. Have we fought and been in fights? Yes. And I'll never forget this, actually last summer. A girl asked me that same question. I was like, you guys are so cute. Do you guys ever fight? I'm like, we fought. She goes, what was your biggest fight about? And I said, none of your fucking business. And she was taken aback. I know.
I'd be like,
but it is.
okay,
And
bye.
I said it nicely after a couple, White Claws, whatever. But it is. It's no one's fucking business.
Yeah, but
if I
what
have
was
a problem, but if I have a problem with my husband, you know who I talk to about it?
Your
My
husband.
Yeah.
That's right.
I don't go around to happy hours with my girlfriends. I don't text people and tell them, oh my God, you won't believe it. I go to my husband and I say, when you did this, it made me feel this way. And this is how it could have been handled better. And vice versa, because for all I know, he meant it a different way. How do I know unless I go directly to the source? When you do this, I feel this. And you have to handle it one-on-one between your marriage, or you go to a third party like a therapist.
Awesome.
I love that.
Awesome.
And that's so true. That's what we say all the time. Like, how do you just go back directly to the source instead of making up a whole story of what could have happened? Because sometimes we have friends around us that we go and they don't always give you the best advice.
That is a feminine trait, to talk about your problems to other people.
Yeah.
And the feminine energy wants to connect and tell, like, talk. I want to talk about this. And what I've seen, the feminine energy loves to connect at a downplay level. So if you have a problem with your husband and somebody else doesn't have a problem with their husband, just because you tell him how shitty your husband is,
I'll find
that person,
something.
Yeah, you'll find something to talk about, right? You know what? Raul is an asshole. Raul is
Yeah,
this,
he did
right?
this like 10 years ago, but he still did it. And I totally understand what you're saying. Like,
Because you
oh
want
my
to
gosh,
connect.
of
Guys are
course.
completely different.
Yes.
If a guy says something about his wife, it's like, okay, cool. Like, that's your problem. Like, so part of it is that we don't like to talk about it. So I like what she says, that if you have a problem, just say, hey, this is how you made me feel. This is how I
feel.
like you to do this next time, so I could feel better, right?
Feedback.
So the problem with men is that we don't like to talk about our feelings. We just take the punches. You do something to me, it's like, all right, I'll hold the space. I won't say anything until, like, I can't take it anymore, right? So that's also the negative part of the masculine. The masculine just takes it on.
I agree.
So we have to learn how to, you know what? I'm not gonna put up with the bullshit, but not in that sense. This is where, when you said this to me, I felt a certain way.
This is how I feel.
And this is how I would like you to approach me next time, or this is how I would like to have this conversation next time, right? But then you could turn and say, well, why are you acting like a woman, right? Why are you acting like a female?
Would I say that to you?
I'm asking, if that is the reaction, the man will not say that again. Because I've seen a lot of women talk to men and say, hey, why are you acting like a woman? Why are you in your feelings, right? The guy will shut down.
Right.
Same thing with women. If men diminish your feelings, you will not come back. You will talk to your girlfriends,
Instead of
because then
talking
it's
to
not
you.
a safe place to talk to your man.
Right. So then the only thing that I would add to that, and I love what she was saying, like everything that she said, like I agree. I would just add, it's like the discernment and the wisdom of like, how do I go back and make time, the quiet time, to go and ask God, what do I need to say right now and how do I need to say it? Because that changes the whole game. And that's been for me like what's really kept my marriage afloat and just overflowing and with respect, is having the discernment of what do I need to tell you, what do I need to let go of, and what do I really need to replace in this relationship.
Because when a man is submitted to a higher power,
And the same as a woman.
he will have the wisdom to tap it into the higher power.
That's right.
And the woman will feel that it's not coming from a place of ego, it's not coming from a place of judgment, it's coming from a place of, here is what I've been called to do to lead this household, and if you treat me this way, I cannot be the leader.
That's right.
And the woman,
I
you know,
agree.
even the Bible says you have to submit to your man, but if you want to submit to a man that is submitted to God. Because if you submit to a man that's not submitted to God, then he's going to try to manipulate you, or you're going to feel that he's manipulating you.
I agree.
So that's the part where we bring God in a relationship, because I'm constantly asking God, how can I be a better husband? How can I be a better father? How can I be a better leader? And I know I'm not perfect. I have a lot of faults. I make a lot of mistakes. But you have ways to show me those mistakes in a loving way. Because you know, the past, I would say the last decade that we worked on ourselves, hasn't been a day that I felt like you're beating me down.
No.
You make mistakes. You know, you poke me. That's what the feminine needs to do. Poke
That's my job.
to make sure that we stand firm on the storm, but you never tear me down.
No,
And I think
no.
one insight that I could give the ladies is that don't tear your man down. Give him feedback. Give it to him straight. Tell him, this is how you made me feel. You're an asshole. This is how I'm feeling.
This
But
is what you
don't
could do better.
That is the key. Tell him what can he do better? That's
Yes.
all we want as men.
Yes.
Give me feedback. Tell me how I can improve. But are you telling me you should know? You know what to do. Fuck, we're gonna. We don't know.
No, you
we don't know.
You don't know.
Give
You don't
us the rules. Give us the direction, and
you
we
get it
will
done.
get it done.
That's right. I know that for a fact.
So
I love you.
February
You're the best.
1st, Valentine's Day starts in 2 weeks, and also Super Bowl. I'm excited for Super Bowl too. That's happening.
Yes.
But
you'll get your
it is
Super
got
Bowl.
money and sex, not got money on
Football.
on football. So
That's
we'll
right.
keep it to got money and sex. So thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Learn it,
Live it, experience it. Love life.
If you receive any value from this conversation, comment, subscribe, and share as we continue to impact more people and take it to the next level.
And please send us your comments and questions so we could answer them in the next podcast.
See you in the next episode.